Genau, dann müsste sich so ein Fenster öffnen, mit dem du den Broadcast starten kannst.
Jetzt kommt erstmal Plugin installieren.
Kannst du bedenkenlos machen, wenn das geht?
Wird nur wahrscheinlich so jetzt nicht funktionieren, aber gucken wir mal. Installation wird überprüft. Google Voice im Video Setup Exe konnte nicht als vertrauenswürdig markiert werden. Das Einstellen wurde durch Ihren Administrator blockiert.
Welchen Browser nutzt du denn?
Dieser Browser, das ist, was unsere Firma anbietet, ist Internet Explorer, da habe ich gar nicht viel Auswahl.
Ja. Ich schicke dir gerade mal noch einen Link. Das könnte man eventuell als Backup nutzen. Ich schreibe dabei meinem Support, dass das bei dir nicht geht. Hast du meinen Link bekommen?
Noch nicht, Moment. Doch, da ist jetzt wieder eine Mail von. Okay. Aber der startet genauso mit Install Plugin.
Oh. Magst du den mal auf dem Handy probieren?
Kannst du mir den mal auf mein Privathandy schicken, auf ukübler.aol.com?
Ja. Kommt.
Eigentlich würden wir nicht über nervös lassen, da.
Ach du, ich habe jetzt, es ist noch nicht Last Minute, aber ich habe jetzt so viel Zeit da reingebuttert. Es ist komplex. Es sollte angeblich einfach sein. Wie gesagt, ich sehe es als Experiment. Das kann jetzt super cool werden oder total schief gehen. Ich weiß es nicht. Anderen Browser kannst du nicht nutzen, oder?
Nee, da haben wir nicht viel Auswahl. In Zeiten, nee, weil das mal probieren, ich kann ja mal eingeben, oder mal so Browser. Was zum Beispiel Firefox?
Also Chrome wäre am besten, aber Firefox sollte auch funktionieren. Ich habe es aus. Hörst du mich jetzt doppelt?
Nee.
Okay.
Keine Ahnung, ob das jetzt irgendwo mich.
Uli, ich sehe dich.
Ich sehe dich auch. Hi.
Hervorragend. Warum nicht gleich so?
Und jetzt müsstest du mich auch doppelt hören.
Jetzt höre ich dich auch doppelt.
Gut, ich lege auf vom Handy. Jetzt hörst du mich nur noch über Livestream.
Jetzt hoffe ich nur nicht, dass mein Datenvolumen privat uns zwischendrin verlässt. Aber ich habe es eigentlich auf eine Flatrate eingestellt gehabt.
Das wäre gut. Aber du hörst mich klar und deutlich, oder?
Ich höre dich klar und deutlich.
Prima, jetzt versuchen wir mal was anderes. Ich versuche dich mal zum Presenter zu machen. Okay, jetzt sehen alle dich.
Okay.
Das einzige Unvorteilhafte ist die Perspektive.
Ja, dann müssen wir das mal irgendwo anders hinkriegen, das Handy. Oh Gott.
Jetzt verstoßen wir natürlich wieder gegen sämtliche Security-Auflagen. Ne?
Natürlich sowieso. Das ist rein prinzipiell gar nicht zulässig, was ich hier treibe. Dass ich hier da groß Broadcasting aus der Firma mache. Oh Gott.
Okay, aber so scheint es jetzt zu funktionieren. Ich würde vorschlagen.
Ich hole mir mal bloß ein Gummi, um das Handy festzumachen.
Ja, warte, Uli, ich bereite dabei den Rest vor. Bleib du mal Standby. Ich habe deine Präsentation an unseren Admin weitergegeben. Hoffe, er kann die hochladen. Und vielleicht lösen wir auch das Problem mit dem Booth noch. Vielleicht hat er noch eine Idee, wie er dich da einbinden kann. Ansonsten bist du auf jeden Fall für den ersten Teil schon mal dabei.
Okay.
Gut, dann bleib auf Standby bitte. Ich schau mal, dass ich die anderen auch dazu hole.
Das heißt, du brauchst mich im Moment nicht. Ich hole mir bloß was, wo ich mein Handy irgendwo festmachen kann hier.
Ja, ja, perfekt. Wir bleiben jetzt direkt live die nächste Stunde.
Okay, super. So. Is there someone else joining live now?
Yes, hello, Veronica.
Hi, this is. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, this is Matt with Easy Expo.
Okay. Hi, this is Uli Kübler from Airbus.
Hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Hi, this is Matt with Easy Expo.
Okay.
Hi, Uli Kübler from Airbus.
Hear me?
Yes, I hear you fine.
This is Matt with Easy Expo.
Okay.
Yes, I hear you fine.
Where's that go?
I think.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay. You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Perfectly.
Okay. Good. Can you see me?
Yes.
There we go. Is that Andreas? It looks like Andreas is on mute. Am I waiting? Am I waiting? Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I hear you. Can you hear me?
All right. Good. Problem solved. Very good. So thanks for joining us, Jeff. Please stand by.
Okay.
Let me just ask, can you see my presentation as well?
So just a black box that says SpaceX. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you should see it. Okay.
Yeah.
And also I should, so now you see yours?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. So then that works. So we're prepared on this side. Okay, so please stand by. We have more than half an hour already, but I would suggest to simply let it on.
Okay.
And then we can see. I'll just
Okay.
try and get the other partners on board. I see Cedric joining us. Hello, Cedric.
We're half an hour late.
You're muted, Cedric. You can. Let's just try one thing, Jeffrey. If I make you the presenter now.
Oh, don't make me the presenter. Don't change anything.
Okay.
Don't.
All right.
I'll just say next slide if you don't mind, and we'll just go through it that way because I don't want to change anything.
That's okay. Yeah. You can also think of any other buzzword.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll mute you for a moment.
Okay.
Hope you don't mind. Cedric, can you hear me? I can't hear you, but I see you talking. Hold on a second, please. So coming back to Cedric, can you hear me now? So I trust you can hear me, but unfortunately I can't hear you. Can I ask you to please check your settings? Let me just make you the presenter for a moment to see if that changes something. Still can't hear you. Cedric, I trust you have a problem with your microphone. At the header section, there should be a settings icon. Maybe you can double check.
How about now?
Yes, yes, now I hear you. No, you're gone. No, can't hear you any longer.
Hello. This one.
Yeah, then now it's good.
Okay, I have 4 microphones in my settings. I'm not sure where they are, but this seems to be working, so that's good.
Wow. Okay, so then that one's working. Excellent. Then yeah, please stand by. I just grab a cup of coffee and try and get the other partners on board in the meantime, if that's okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you.
Sure.
Did you already start your live stream for your booth?
I tried it earlier, yes. Should I?
So you may already start it if you want, but you can also wait until later.
I'll just wait till later because I'm not sure how much bandwidth I have here once all the people come back after lunch. We'll
Yeah,
see.
that's a good idea. Okay, so stand by, all of you, please. I'll be back soon, hopefully with a bunch of other partners.
Okay,
I'm gonna mute you for now.
sure.
Hallo, Uli. Ich lade gerade deine Präsentation hoch.
Ich habe gerade eine neue, eine abgedatete geschickt. Ja?
Die meine ich, die lade ich gerade hoch. Alles gut. Danke dir.
Sorry, das war ein Fehler.
Was war ein Fehler? Ach so, der Anruf. Okay. Alles klar. Okay. Gut. Ich habe gerade deine Präsentation weitergereicht.
Ja.
Hello, Matthias. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Dann kann ich jetzt auflegen. Alles klar. Danke.
Super.
So, ich denke mal, ihr könnt mich auch hören, oder?
I would say so, yes. I guess we have to stick to English as we're an international group. Could hardly be more international today. Let me just check if everything is working properly. Can everyone hear Matthias?
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, test.
You're pretty used to these procedures, right?
Kind of.
Okay, excellent. So please, folks, stand by for a couple of moments. I'll just make sure we have everything set, and we'll be back with the start of the session in a couple of minutes. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll be right back. So, hello everyone, hope you're still there. 2 minutes left to go. All right, I think we can start. Can everybody hear me well? Otherwise, do let me know. Thank you so much. All right. So it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the very first virtual expo event of the Space Exploration Masters 2018. It's a pleasure. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night to everyone from around the world. Pleasure to have you with us. Normally at this stage, you would hear something about housekeeping rules. Today, I think it's the beauty of this virtual event. We can forget about all these details. So if you hear a fire alert, don't panic. The chances are high that this doesn't affect you. Instead, I have the pleasure to introduce two speakers, one after the other, for two special guests for our intro session. The first speaker is ESA astronaut Dr. Matthias Maurer, and we are thrilled, Matthias, that we have you on board today. Swimming is very popular, especially with the warm temperatures we have now. Here's a fun fact about Matthias. In summer, I think 2016 it was, you spent over 2 weeks underwater to test hardware and experiments for the ISS, as well as testing exploration strategies and tools for future missions to Mars. So we are very happy to have you, Matthias, for a welcoming speech today. Time to hand over to our ESA astronaut. Matthias, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, and warm welcome also from my side. I'm here at the European Astronaut Center in Cologne, and actually I'm representing today in this Space Exploration Masters the view of the astronaut corps. When we go out and explore, be it underwater for testing, but be it in real, flying to low Earth orbit, or in the future fly beyond Moon towards Mars, we need good technology, we need resilient systems, we need resources. And wherever we go, especially if we land on a different system like the Moon, we need a house that gives us shelter, we need air, we need water, we need food, we need systems that run stable and that we can rely on. And that already is a quick summary of what all this competition is about. We need your help, because I believe that you have already some solutions in mind that might help space exploration. And so we are looking forward to spin in new technology and also to create a benefit for the people here on Earth using this newly developed technology, which is made for space. So last year, I had the honor to hand over the golden envelope to the winner of the last competition. And I'm very happy to see that even now we have more money in as a prize, as rewards for you guys. So I'm looking forward to a very lively competition to find new solutions to the challenges that we have. And yeah, good luck from my side. And back to Andreas.
Thank you very much for your warm welcoming words, Matthias. As you say, there is more to win this year as compared to last year. That's one aspect, but we're also very pleased to have the partners on board. and also include new partners. So very, very inspiring. Thanks a lot for your participation so far. And I'm very pleased to now hand over to our second speaker, who is Jeffrey Member, the CEO of Nanorex, who's about to give us a keynote. In case you didn't know, Nanorex is actually the first commercial space station company that has real customers. The company envisions a future in space where commercial outposts, today known as space stations and habitats, populate the solar systems. We are excited to hear your keynote about your visions and future space exploration ecosystems now. Welcome, Jeffrey. Just need to unmute you. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Can you hear me?
Yes, excellent.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Well, good afternoon. I'm very excited to be here. And I'm doing this early in the morning from Washington, D.C., because there's never been a more exciting time in space exploration. And there really is no morning, afternoon, and evening in space. And just 30 minutes ago, Nanorex deployed a British satellite for Surrey from the International Space Station. It was the largest satellite ever deployed from the International Space Station at 90 kilograms. And that was just taking place moments ago. So it's a very exciting time in the industry, in our program, and in exploration. Would you be kind enough to bring up the slides now? Can you bring up the next slide? Okay. So as you heard from Andreas, our vision is to have private space stations. We're looking beyond the International Space Station now, and we're at a time in history where companies, and small companies like mine, my company is only 60 people. That's either a big amount, because we started a few years ago with 3 of us, or it's a small amount, because we're not like Airbus or Boeing or Thales Alenia. And so we're 60 people, and yet the industry is at a point, and technology is at a point where we can seriously talk about having our own space station. And I'll talk about that in a moment. The next slide, please. And so one of the major points to Nanorex is that we believe seriously and passionately that we're helping increase the access to space. We're democratizing space. We've had 5 customers that have gone to space through crowdsourcing. How cool is that? That means that we had customers who did 5 projects where they raised the money from people all over the world. So this is really an extraordinary time. Next slide, please. And so there you can see just some of the different ways that we get to space. We don't really consider ourselves in the hardware business at Nanorex. We see ourselves in the customer business. And today we've sent over 600 payloads to the space station. We work with Blue Origin on their suborbital New Shepard, and we work on a number of platforms. So we're not limited. We don't wake up in the morning and say, what new hardware can we produce? We wake up in the morning and say, how can we lower the cost of getting to space? Who has something that we can use for our current customers or for new customers? Next slide, please. And so there, again, you can see some of the different ways that we get to space and different programs that we offer. Right now, we have customers in over 32 nations. And there was a gentleman from the European Space Agency who was in my office a few weeks ago, and he said that we may have sent more nations to space than ESA. I don't know if that's true, but it's a nice thought that a small company like NanoRacks, we're dealing with Europeans, we're dealing with Asians, we've sent Africa, North America, and it's all due to the relationship that we have with NASA, where we work under a Space Act agreement with NASA, and we became the first company in the world to own our own hardware on the space station, the first company to have prices and to charge services. And it's important to say, especially to this audience, that I made a decision early on not to patent any of our hardware. This is a very important point. Today, NanoRacks has a lot of competitors, as you saw, I think, on the slide. For example, Ice Cubes out of Europe is a competitor for one of my markets. But had we patented, had we protected the technology, it would not have probably allowed Ice Cubes to go forward, or Space Tango, which is another competitor. But from the beginning, I wanted, and my co-founders wanted, to open source the technology so that we could get a stronger market and as many competitors as we can. So we very rarely patent processes and services and hardware of NanoRacks. We're hoping that the market will develop and develop and develop. Next slide, please. Andreas, next slide, if you can. While we're waiting for the next slide, Andreas, if you, I don't see the next slide, but let me say one of the proudest accomplishments we've done recently at NanoRacks, other than the successful deployment this morning from the space station of a 90-kilogram satellite, is that we opened the door to China on the International Space Station. And so this was a major advance. You may or may not know that the American Congress passed a law that prohibits NASA from working with China. And at NanoRacks, we were able to get around that. We worked with Congress, we worked with the White House, and last year we sent the Beijing Institute of Technology doing a very interesting synthetic DNA project. And we were able to send that to the space station. And it was the first commercial Chinese customer on the space station. And as a result of that, I know that Airbus is working now very closely with China and doing a number of very interesting microgravity projects. Thales Alenia, the Italians, are working with China. And we at NanoRacks continue to work with China. But once again, this was very important to us that we don't want a closed market. We want a very open market in space. We want international cooperation. We want people all over the world to be able to access to space. Next slide.
Thanks for this additional info, Jeff. I don't know if you can see the slide.
No.
You're on there. Slide number 6 about the standardized hardware.
Okay, I can, so thank you. So one of the key points that we have is to have standardized hardware because that lowers the cost. And in the old days, 10 years ago, researchers would build custom hardware, beautiful, beautiful hardware, and it would cost €1 million at the very least. And so we and Ice Cubes and Space Tango are working on miniaturizing and standardizing the hardware, and that lowers the cost. That's a very important part as you look for your ideas and you look for things you want to do in space. Try not to come up with very sophisticated, very complex hardware. Not only is it expensive, but it's very difficult to get new projects through the safety process of the European Space Agency, NASA, the Japanese Space Agency, the Russian Space Agency. It's very difficult. And so the more simple the hardware, the easier it is to get it through the safety process. Next slide. Okay, and maybe go to the next slide. I think we've covered some of these things. I'm having trouble seeing the slide, but next slide I think would be good.
We're seeing the customers now.
Yes, we have customers, as I mentioned, all over the world. For me, people say you have European Space Agency as a customer. You're not commercial. For me, a customer is commercial, whether it's the European Space Agency or NASA or DLR or the Romanian Space Agency, all of whom are customers of mine. They're commercial customers because it's our hardware, we invested in it, and we are getting paid for a service. And it's no different than if a European government official, an American government official gets on a plane, takes Lufthansa to go somewhere. They're a commercial customer because the hardware, Lufthansa, the way they sold the ticket, Airbus built the hardware, Lufthansa sold the ticket, it's commercial. So we're trying to create a commercial ecosystem. And it doesn't matter if my customers are government or pharmaceutical companies or educational. We've flown about 160 educational organizations from all over the world. And there's the slide. Thank you, Andreas. There's the slide of you can see some of the customers. To me, they're all commercial. Next slide, please. And that's a picture of the work we did with the Beijing Institute of Technology. They did as I said, it's inside a what we call a nano lab. And it was a very interesting project looking at the fact that DNA, the genetic coding, seems to have changed when they did their first experiment on board a Chinese platform. And what that means is maybe it is more difficult for humans to get to Mars than we think. Maybe for humans to get to Mars and to spend years in space, it might change our genetic coding. And Beijing Institute of Technology is one of the leaders in looking at this process. And it could be very sad news for those of us who want to explore, but very good that we know now before, and maybe we can seek to correct it. Next slide, please. And as I'm waiting for the next slide, okay. So I can say, so to finish up, our two major projects. The first, NanoRacks is building the world's first airlock, commercial airlock on the International Space Station. Right now, there is an airlock, a cargo airlock, and it's used by JAXA, the Japanese Space Agency. And we're building one that's 5 times the size. And it's completely self-funded. My partners are Boeing in North America and Thales Alenia in Torino. And in fact, we're opening an office in Torino. And suddenly everybody in my Washington, D.C. office wants to learn Italian. I don't know why. But anyway, we're going to be opening in Italy. And it's a perfect example of the era that we have in our industry today in exploration, where a small company is self-funding to do a big new project on the space station. And our partners are Italian, our partners are American, our customers are going to be NASA, European Space Agency, satellite companies. We're going to have Wi-Fi. We're going to have ability to attach things on the outside of the airlock. And so this is a very exciting project, and we're scheduled to we're manifested on SpaceX 19 in 2019. Next slide, please. And I think that the next slide, what does that say? Oh, that's just our partners. Next slide, please. I think that shows our partners, what I've talked about. And then I think this is about the last slide. What we're working on now is private space stations. And a lot of people are looking at building new hardware on the ground and one day launching it to space, whether it's a hotel or a research laboratory. The United States has said that the International Space Station is the last space station the government, the American government, will ever own and operate. So for companies, for people like me who dream of commercial space, of being away from the government, no offense to anybody in the government, but this is a very exciting development. And so what we're looking at is an old dream of everybody in the space business, and that is recycling and repurposing spent fuel tanks, the second stage. Once the fuel tank finishes, can you repurpose it into a space station? And we did a 5-month study with NASA last year, and to NASA's surprise, to my surprise, it turns out that you can with modern day robotics. We used robots that are now on the surface of Mars, and we showed that once the spent fuel tank is finished from an Atlas V, we use the upper stage of an Atlas V, and we show from the ground, it looks like that we can repurpose it and it would become a space station. This is very exciting for a couple of reasons. One, the cost is far cheaper than if you build it on the ground. Here you have something that would have been thrown away, and instead we're reusing it, which is also environmentally good. Number two, it's what we call in English scalable. In other words, we're not talking about building one. We're talking about we could have 5 in the next 10 years. Some can be robotic. Some could have humans in it. They could go wherever an Atlas V goes. So that means LEO, GEO, or deep space. We're now signing agreements with other customers, other launch vehicle providers to look at other launch vehicles in addition to the Atlas V. And NASA is now giving us some space at Marshall Space Flight Center to do on-the-ground demos. So this is exciting. This is the future for NanoRacks as private space stations. What does it mean for you? It means that if you believe that commercial is a little more efficient and gives you a little more opportunity than governments, this is a very exciting time. You have to believe that in 5 years and 10 years, we'll have about 5, 6, 7 private space stations in orbit. Some will be robotics, some will be hotels, some will be just for pharmaceutical research. I think we're very close to that, and whatever we can do in NanoRacks to help everybody realize their dreams, their ideas, their concepts, we're ready to help and get us into this new era of exploration and utilization. So those are my comments. I'm not sure how many more slides, but I know we're running late. So I think that's my comments today, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Truly inspiring, I can say, Jeff. Very, very good. Thanks. It clearly shows the high potential space exploration is offering. That's for sure. I particularly like that you really showed how to start creating an own ecosystem for the commercial use of space exploration. I was actually surprised by the repurposing of fuel tanks into the space station. That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think one other aspect which you made also very clearly is that is the international cooperation that is necessary, and that you are sort of living with your projects, not only US, Italian, but also with customers among the globe actually, and also in Europe. So I think this is a very good example, and I think it shows where the journey goes. And I think this is where also the Space Exploration Masters can contribute. So thank you very much again for your contribution, and I hope to keep in touch and show some brilliant examples from this year's Space Exploration Masters.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Have a great rest of the event, and I wish you all well and look forward to meeting one day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Bye-bye.
So after these 2 inspiring speeches, I think we should have a look at the agenda. This is where we currently are. So next up, I'd like to give you a very, very short introduction, a general introduction to the Space Exploration Masters as such. before we then go into the pitching session for the individual challenge. So just to give you some basic information, we can skip that. Yeah, first of all, we have just covered the international cooperation aspect, and therefore I'm really proud that we have these partners on board of the Space Exploration Masters. Initiated already last year by ESA and taken out by AZO, this project really aims at fostering the commercial exploitation of space exploration. And we're really proud to have these partners on board who are all supporting us in this global endeavor. We have just covered this aspect. We will come back to each of these 5 challenges that are on offer, so I won't go into detail right now. Just to give you some general facts, as said, we have 5 challenges on offer this year, taken out by 13 international partners. We're all looking for international cooperation. It was already mentioned by Matthias earlier this day that the prize pool has actually increased a lot, and we have now on offer more than 800,000 euro prizes. Last year we had already over 130 business ideas. We hope to exceed this year as well. And also the international experts, the number of experts is interesting here. There are myriad fields of different applications that we are looking for. I mean, all the different challenges might have their individual focus topics, but in general, we're targeting everything from artificial intelligence to tourism. Jeffrey was just pointing out there might be even hotels in the orbit in the next couple of years, so that's amazing. But almost everything you can think of, be it economy related or energy related or society related, can be relevant for space exploration. In particular, of course, we're looking into low Earth orbit, Moon, Mars, and beyond. So check out these application fields and check the business relation in your applications. The prize pool, as I said, is worth more than 800,000 euro. That, of course, does not include only cash. Cash, I think, is always nice to have, but what counts even more is the business coaching, the pitch training, also access to not only venture capital, but also to experts that we provide to participants. I think this is a very important aspect. But we're also having real flight operations on offer. So the ability, the possibility to fly your application on the ISS, for instance, or on the Sierra Nevada Corporation Stream Chaser. But also, of course, we're good at providing publicity, marketing support, and also feasibility studies. So I think there is something for each and everybody. And even if you don't end up as a winner, you still get feedback from experts, which can really make a difference for your business. Looking at the competition structure, where are we now? We're already in the second half of the submission phase, so participants can apply for the competition until the end of July. Just choose any of our partner challenges. If you have several different ideas, you can, of course, also apply for different challenges. So feel free to choose from our partners' challenges and apply until the end of July. Next up will be the evaluation phase. So we hand over to the experts of the respective challenge to assess your idea against a number of criteria and then select the winners. For the overall winner this year, there will be a public voting in due time before the award ceremony on the competition website, so stay tuned for that. And let me also mention that in addition to all those challenge prizes, we have a cross-sectional offer by ESA, namely the ESA Space Solutions Prize, which is awarding the best business model with another feasibility study worth 40K. So please already save the date for the award ceremony that will take place on the 30th of October in line with the Space for Inspiration conference by ESA in Bilbao, Spain. You'll basically find all relevant information on the competition website. Let me just remind you of that. So under spaceexplorationmasters.com, there is all relevant information, always up to date. We provide the latest news and events there. But more than that, this is also the sole entry point for the actual submission database. So this is an important aspect also in terms of privacy policy protection these days. We have a secure online ideas database where you are asked to register and provide detailed information on your application. You will be asked a number of questions, not too many, and very easily structured, but you will be asked to give information on the technical aspects of your solution, as well as the value you're proposing and the business model. If you already have a business case, I think it's more or less copy and paste. If you don't, this is certainly a very good exercise you will probably need later on. So fill out these questions, also give information on the team competence behind, and also there is a upload section where you can upload a sketch to illustrate your application, or even a PowerPoint presentation to impress the experts. Before I conclude, I'd like to give you some examples here from the previous award ceremony. You see Matthias Maurer in the lower right corner. So you see the winners in the middle. So this is always, of course, sort of a little bit Oscar-like feeling, where we have a festive award ceremony, and the winners, of course, can benefit from the fame and the glory they get on stage. So save the date again for the 30th of October. This is when the award ceremony will take place. So in a nutshell, why should you actually join the competition? Obviously, there are quite a number of awesome prizes worth more than 800,000 euro. But I think also, or equally as important, is that you can actually build your own international network with our partners who are all looking for international collaboration. As it was also pointed out by Jeffrey, this is of great importance. You can also make the world aware of your solution, no matter what stage you are at. So if you have an early stage idea or an out-of-the-shelf product or prototype, please feel free to submit your idea. And as said earlier, you can receive feedback from renowned experts covering a wide array of expertise. So this will certainly help boost your business. And last but not least, make the award ceremony your event, benefit from the fame and glory. And of course, it goes without saying that this event is also a brilliant networking opportunity to catch up with people that you might otherwise probably not meet. So far for that, as said, the submission phase is still on until the end of July, so please make sure you register in due time. I always recommend to try and reach 100% completeness first, and then think if you might be able to improve certain aspects. All full and complete applications will automatically be submitted at the end of the submission phase, which means you can work on them until that very day. With this, I'd like to conclude and would like to hand over now to our partners to present in a 5-minute pitch the relevant aspects on their respective ideas, challenges, and explain what they're looking for. So this is where we are. I'd like to hand over to Veronica La Regina from ESA, who is going to explain about the Health and Food Challenge first, and afterwards about the ESA and Commercial Partners Challenge. The slide is up here. Let me now hand over to Veronica.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. So, hello everyone. Thanks for joining to this virtual expo. It's quite exciting. And let's go now on the challenge side of this exciting initiative, the Space Exploration Master. I believe that there are two things making a human being never exhausted. You know what? Well, it's quite easy. It's learning and money. And at the end of the day, we can see that learning and money, they are just tools for doing what? For looking for solution to challenge. And for this, the European Space Agency initiated the Space Exploration Master, not alone, but with a set of well-known and diversified partners. So going to the first ESA challenge is related to health and food. And for doing this, the agency partnered with the United Nations World Health Organization and two European space agencies, one based in Italy and the other one based in France. And they are looking for what? They are looking for innovative solution to open up the current stressor to healthy food provision for space exploration purpose, but also to analog case on Earth. So we know that actually stressor make life difficult. So the challenge is for everyone. bright teams of students, start-upper and young professionals that they are partnering with established entity. So what you get from this, it is the travel to the award ceremony for making the Spaces for Inspiration event your event. Then you get support to boost your idea, to cross-fertilize from space to non-space. So the mentorship offered by United Nations World Health Organization, and also to reach a global audience. And not only for this, but also to reach a number of new players that making your idea flyable to go up to space. So I thank all the partners and I thank all the supporters for this challenge. And I'm going to move to the next challenge. So next slide. European Space Agency entered recently in partnership with a number of well-known industrial players for a number of initiatives. And they are two related with the International Space Station. So we have the IceCube, it is a facility indoor the European module Columbus, and the upcoming Bartolomeo with Airbus, it is actually an outdoor facility of the European Columbus module. And then also entered in partnership with Sarra in satellite technology, a Gunilfi Earth Station, to initiate the venue to the moon. So ESA and this partner, they are extremely concerned among function of the space exploration operation in LEO and moon environment. So for this, they are inviting the global community of solver to come up with an innovative resilience system to assure continuity of on-orbit exploration operation to this target identified by ESA partner. I ask everyone to join this challenge, so there can be a large corporation to start up, academia, team members, researcher, and so on. But by the way, I would like to make the point that you are going to have the opportunity to have a prize per each destination. So it can be the LEO, the ISS, IceCube, or Bartolomeo, and for the moon. And each prize will give you the opportunity to be a solution tailored, ready to be on orbit, with a market value of 50k euro. So for details about how it works, this challenge, how it's going to be delivered, and what is the prize pool belong to your winning idea, please join the booth after the presentation of the challenge today. Thank you, and many regards from Bernard Uffenbach, that has been the initiator of the Space Exploration Master, that unfortunately today is not here, and is the head of strategy innovation team from Human and Robotic Exploration Directorate of the agency. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Almost German punctuality, Veronica. Thanks a lot for that and for the information you just gave on the two challenges. I'd like to hand over now to the next speaker, who's Cedric Letch, who's with the Luxembourg Ministry of Economy, and who will give us more information on the Space Resources.lu challenge. Cedric, okay. If you can hear us, the floor is yours.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so thank you, Andreas and Veronica, and your teams also at AZO and ESA for organizing this important and very exciting competition. So yeah, my name is Cedric Letch. I'm an economic advisor at the Ministry of the Economy in Luxembourg, and more specifically the Directorate of Space Affairs. And just maybe to give you a small idea of what we do here. So the Ministry of the Economy is in charge of diversifying Luxembourg's economy by developing and supporting innovative activities mainly. And so the primary role here at the Space Affairs Directorate is to implement the Luxembourg's national space policy. The commercial space sector has been a priority for Luxembourg for more than 30 years now, when, as you might know, SES was created with the support of the government, resulting in one of the world's largest satcom owners and operators, as well as a small ecosystem of companies with expertise in related fields. And so our political leadership sees the commercial space sector as a big opportunity for Luxembourg, which is why a couple of years ago they announced the Space Resources.lu initiative to develop activities targeting the utilization of space resources. And so this is actually where the Space Resources.lu challenge comes in. It addresses several strategic pillars of the initiative. And this includes promoting space resources, of course, nationally, internationally, on many different levels, developing top-tier talent in Luxembourg and in the world, and also offering R&D support for innovative projects. And so our prize, it aims to discover solutions or technologies that complement Luxembourg's portfolio of activities along the space resources utilization value chain. So this goes from prospection over to extraction, processing, manufacturing, servicing, and so on. And in addition to that, we're also interested in enabling technologies and fields related to space resource utilization, with the exception of launch. So as much as I would like, we are not looking at developing rockets in Luxembourg, but we are interested in many other areas such as material science, 3D printing, remote sensing, communications, robotics, data analytics, artificial intelligence, you name it, whatever is related to the mission of the utilization of space resources. The challenge is open to the global public, so everybody can participate. And the winner will have the opportunity to carry out a development phase under our national space program that is actually managed by ESA. So you would be signing a contract with the European Space Agency. The value of this contract is €500,000. And what's very important is that this prize or this grant can only be awarded to a Luxembourg company. So that means that you may have to move to Luxembourg, which, believe me, is not a bad thing at all. In addition to that, of course, you will have to provide a sound business plan that is evaluated successfully here and also by ESA, since you'll be signing a contract with the European Space Agency. But don't worry too much about that. We have an expert team here at the ministry that can guide you or the winner throughout this process. This is all on the website, actually, in a bit more detail. Maybe some stuff that's not, or some information that's not on the website. So the application form, as you may have noticed, is structured like a business plan, as you already said, Andreas, actually. So if you already have a business plan, it's perfect. It should be very, very straightforward. If not, it's a good exercise. And even if you do not win, you will still receive feedback from our jury on your proposal. So I think that's something that can also be super useful. The evaluation criteria, so every proposal will be evaluated on the technical feasibility and the market potential, of course. We will also be looking at legal aspects and risks such as ITAR or anything that's IP related. Of course, your proposal has to be relevant to space exploration or space resources utilization more specifically. And of course, we will also be looking at your level of innovation and maybe the benefits to society in general. The submissions deadline is July 31st, and then so the jury will have 1 full month to evaluate proposals. There will be, for the top 10 proposals, a virtual pitching session in the first week of September. And after that, in the third week of September, the top 5 proposals that have been selected by the jury will be invited to a physical meeting in Luxembourg. The travel costs are covered. And the travel costs will actually also be covered for the award ceremony where the winner will be announced. And that's in Bilbao in Spain, as Andreas already said.
All right.
Okay, I think that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, please feel free to join the Q&A session right after this. You can also contact me privately, and you can find my contact details on the competition website.
Thank you so much, Cedric, for this information. I'd say €500,000 are definitely worth considering to move to Luxembourg. So think about that. I think since we're waiting for Peter, Lucia, if you agree, then we would just move on with Uli, if that's okay. So let's try this. So we're coming back to the Astrosat and Huntsville Challenge in a moment and would now move on with the Sustainable Exploration Challenge. And here I'm pleased to welcome Uli Kübler from Airbus, who's actually representing the 2 companies here. So Uli, please, if you can present the Sustainable Exploration Challenge. You're currently muted. Still muted. Sorry, I can't unmute you from here. So 4 minutes left for your pitch. Don't worry, but I can't hear you. This is all live.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, now it's fine. Excellent.
Okay, so we jumped already in the first chart, but
there's already this one.
Okay, but let me just first say we're really happy here, and as you said, we are not only Airbus alone. We are very happy to participate again in this what we call sustainable exploration challenge together with partners, and we are this year, like last year, joined by Merck from Darmstadt in Germany, as well as this year for the first time by Air Liquide from France, and we are especially happy that these are partners which are earning most of their business, at least in the non-space sector. And I think this is very important from where we want to go with this challenge, all to show this is relevant not only for space and space exploration, but also for back on Earth. And well, if you look at this backdrop really for a little bit, and I really like to just get people in the moon and just think about it and think about it. You would open the first greenhouse on the moon. What would you grow actually on such a greenhouse, and how can you sustain life? How and what technologies would you be using? Would it be an indoor farming with sunlight, or would you still have artificial lighting, photovoltaic? What type of soils and nutrients are you using? It's not that we as space industry have all these great ideas. We might have some, but we want to ask people how to do it, but then focus what is the product you would sell in the end and who would buy it back there on the moon. So the same applies for our other topics. So aside of looking for greenhouses on the moon, we look on a fuel station. So who would be the first one operating a local fuel gas station on the moon? Most likely turning water ice from the moon in oxygen and hydrogen via electrolysis. And then you have rovers with fuel cells, and who are the customers again? Is there a clientele there? So it's about, if you please go to the next chart.
I'm sorry, Uli, for this session there is only this one. More information should be given at the booth later on. So if you can concentrate only on these aspects on this slide for now. Uli, can you still hear me?
Continue without the chart, but that's what can you hear me still?
Yes, I can.
Okay, can you change the charts?
Oh, I was just explaining we only have this one for these 5 minutes now, and you're kindly invited to give more detailed information at the booth later on. Can't hear you right now. Uli, are you still there?
Okay, so with Merck, our portfolio of terrestrial and space solutions make these technologies available to whoever has a plan for these topics, and then in the end, together with these technologies, could come up with a business plan for space exploration, but certainly start on ground and also be able to make a business out of this. So I think aside of the prices we offer here, and I think the great thing is participating is you would be exposed and would be learning a lot from high-end top technologies from the 3 countries, how you could potentially apply them for recycling and closed loop systems in space exploration, but also for a business case on Earth.
All right, thank you very much, Uli, for this introduction to your challenge. So for all of you who would like to obtain more information, please join Uli at the booth later on. Before that, however, we have one more presentation And I'm very pleased to hand over to Lucia Cape now from the Huntsville-Madison County Chamber, who will explain about the AstroSat and Huntsville Challenge, a truly international cooperation between the US and Scotland. So Lucia, the floor is yours for your 5 minutes. I currently cannot hear you. What about the others? Can you hear Lucia?
Nope.
No, I can't.
Lucia, can you say something? I think you're still having problems with your microphone. We're a bit ahead of time, so no need to hurry. But please check your microphone again. It doesn't seem to be working. Lucia? So we cannot hear you still. Lucia, I give you a minute more, and then if we cannot reach you again, then I might be taking over. So if everyone can just hold on a second, please. We're trying to solve this technical issue, and we'll be right back. So I'm afraid it seems that we have lost Lucia and Peter as well. So nevertheless, then let me take over and give some information on the AstroSat and Huntsville Challenge. As said, this is a very good example for international partnership, as both parties, well, AstroSat based in Scotland as well as Huntsville, are actually looking to commercialize space access. They have a particular tool they make use of, which is the Sierra Nevada Corporation Dream Chaser. They can use for missions in low Earth orbit. I see Lucia coming right back. Let's see if she can hear us. Lucia, feel free to interrupt me. Otherwise, I'll just keep on presenting your challenge. Hope you don't mind. Actually, what the challenge is looking for is great ideas on how to make use of the Sierra Nevada Corporation's Dream Chaser for purposes that actually look beyond Earth observation and cargo delivery only. So the application ideas should actually focus on the future of space exploration, aiming for a greater understanding of the universe, and secondly, also for supporting developments regarding those destinations like the Moon, Mars, and beyond. So suggestions, but not limited to that, but suggestions include using the Dream Chaser, for instance, to support other commercial space businesses in low Earth orbit, or as a science platform to advance the Deep Space Gateway, or maybe to support in-space manufacturing for commercial applications, to give you just some examples of how this vehicle could actually be used. So the target group for this challenge is international startups. Here we have it again, the international cooperation aspect, but also SMEs, entrepreneurs, researchers, engineers, and designers, as well as universities and student teams. So almost everybody has a chance to apply for this challenge. The prize, first of all, is access to the partners. So as said, they're looking for collaboration opportunities. So this opens up great chances for you participants. But they're also providing business analysis and the comprehensive trip package, let's say, to Huntsville for facilitated meetings and business incubation services at a total value of 35,000 euro are also on offer. So if you're interested in this, despite the technical issues, I hope we will manage to overcome these in the next couple of moments. So please join Lucia and Peter at their booth. This opens up actually the next session. So in in about 4 or 5 minutes time, the partners will be ready at the exhibit hall. So if you navigate to the top of your browser and enter the exhibit hall next to the auditorium, then you can select the respective booth and get in touch with our partners, acquire first-hand information, post questions to them, and they will be happy to answer them. After this, in about 35 minutes, I would ask you all back to the lounge area where we can have some subsequent networking and where you're kindly invited to also exchange with the other partners, ask questions, and you can enter into a private conversation. To me, it only remains at this stage to say thank you very much for your participation. I do hope to see all of you participating in the Space Exploration Masters. And let me also mention that we have an additional booth in the exhibit hall for any general requests or any questions that you might have. I'd be happy to help if I can. Thanks to all the speakers and partners for now, and hope to see you soon at the booths. Thanks a lot for your participation again.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello to all partners. If you can, please make sure that your Hangouts account is now correctly set and that you're streaming to everyone and enter the booth so you would be available for questions.
Du, ich bin lost in space. Was ist jetzt los? Ich verstehe es. Ich habe die Exhibit Hall, da gibt es dann ein Fenster, das geht dann ein Stück weit auf, dann steht da ein Bild Airbus Air Liquide Merck, aber dann passiert nichts weiter. Nee, also da läuft gar nichts. Okay. Ja.
Is this working?
Yeah, it's working.
Good. Let's go forward. Can you see me?
I can't see you.
Good. Good.
Very good, thank you.
I'm waiting for you. Hello? Is this working?
Yeah, it's working.
Good. Let's go forward.
Hello?
Can you see me? Yes,
I
I'm
can't
waiting
see
for
you.
you. Good.
Can you hear me? Veronica speaking. Right. Very good, so much.
Yes, thank you.
Andreas.
Still someone else joining live phone? Yes, this is Jeff Manver. Hello.
Veronica, hello.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you. All right, this is. Hear me? Yes, I hear you fine. All right, hear me? This is Matt with G6 phone. Okay. Hello. All right, this is. Me? Yes. I hear you fine. This is Matt with G6 phone.
Also ich sehe da irgend so eine komische Dame, die vor einem Pult und die zeigt auf unsere Session und dann passiert gar nichts. Ja, in dem Hangout. Ich meine, dieses Hangout, das ist doch das, was gerade vorher, diese Präsentation gelaufen sind, da war ich ja drin.
Hi, Matt.
Oh, it's, we have two. Yeah, I got two going on. Sorry about that. So, now it's back. There's actually two hangouts. That's why I'm getting all day. That's the challenge. Multiple hangouts happening at the same time. But anyway, it looks like it's working fine.
Hi, Matt. Veronica. I see Jeff.
Oh.
My camera, the hangout.
Okay. So, now this is, all right, so it looks like this is working now. Andre, is coming here, joining here? so just kind of give you a little bit of this will be live streamed through the session track and also in the auditorium as well. Okay, so people will be able to actually actually hear you and things like that. Now, as far as the pen goes, currently in the booth with respect to each challenger. So you can go to your booth and there will be people waiting. I don't know how to go to a booth. I don't know how to do anything. I'm on. That's head out now. Okay. All right, so let me I'll be right back. Let me
see you.
Yeah.
We can see you. We can hear a lot of German. But now it's all this.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I think you should reset the session and start again. Because probably
Most of the boxes are waiting
Because they did not hang out, you know. Okay, but now it's just open for questions, so there is nothing going on. But before you were hearing when was the plenary?
The plenary we
Yeah.
heard, and then it stopped, and then I went to the
Yeah.
most of them are waiting.
Yeah, because
And
I
then
saw
one-
you entering in the tracking, you know, you have the analytics here.
I
And,
didn't see anything except in your box. You can see your face.
Yeah, because
That's
you
it.
do the.
It's a bit weird.
I think it's a bit difficult. Yeah, because also this one there should be a chat line.
Yeah, but you know, actually here is here. If I go
I've
to
seen
this
some
one,
of
I mean, two people ask, but I don't know. For instance,
You
I
cannot
try
react.
to do. No, I can do. For instance, from the launch, I also send a message to you. Hi, Stefan.
I didn't see that.
No.
No.
Well, I heard some beeps. Maybe it was that, but
There's a delay.
There is a delay.
A little bit. Just to let you know.
Yeah. Yes.
the study with you're the other one that you also were involved in. Did it already start or?
No, I mean, I don't know how. I had some confirmation of the
Who is the technical officer?
OHB technical officer OHB is Sierra Nevada, blah, 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 is Marco Capodici.
Okay, didn't yet start. And the other one?
The other one is Ewald, the
What
one
is the technical officer?
of the Space Application Services.
Ah, okay.
So we have I mean, this is what I have, but in this one, in the last one, it's not
Very confusing.
it is. You see? Live.
She's there?
No, the live, the virtual event. You know, in the booth we are having.
But it's not working?
The booth not. The plenary session was fine, but the booth not.
Mm.
I think she went back to the office.
So she has an update here?
Not one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because yeah.
I
Okay.
told you.
So that's good. Busy now, no?
Yeah, sorry. I took push here.
So, hello everyone again. Sorry, obviously we're having quite some technical issues here that we currently cannot overcome, so my apologies for this. Nevertheless, this is live. We have to improvise. What would we do on the space station now? So what my idea was is to invite everyone to the main session again, and then we can pose questions to the partners and have them answered with regard to the challenges. So I just sent around an email to everyone involved, hoping that they will be able to join the session here. So please stay tuned. We'll start the conversation in about 2 minutes. Okay, thank you. So I see Hilde coming in. Hi Hilde, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Let's see if any of the attendees would follow us to this chat. They will have to accept the link invitation, so we should have a moment for them.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. Not necessary to say that this is all live, right?
No problem.
So I see Alexander coming in. Hello, Alexander.
Hello, how are you?
Well, merely fine. I would have said it was fine so far. Now we just need to troubleshoot a little bit, but I think we're fine. There are more and more coming in. I see Mina. Hello, Mina. So if you have already any questions to the partners, we have ESA and their commercial partners represented. We have Airbus representing the Sustainable Exploration Challenge already. So feel free to ask if you have any questions.
Hi, Alexander. I see you online. Please open your microphone.
Hello, how are you?
Go ahead.
Okay, well, I didn't have any particular questions. I've signed up for the contest, but haven't really chosen a challenge yet. It's just a curiosity for the moment.
Sure, no problem.
So can you tell us a little bit about your application or your idea, or only the domain, only if you feel comfortable with telling?
Yeah, well, I haven't really chosen anything yet. I have, I'm kind of observing and seeing what's going on, but I can probably mention the prize we received 2 weeks ago for the ESA Big Challenge. So we received first prize for the ESA Big Challenge for our project, which involves remote collaboration and mixed reality between astronauts on Earth and astronauts. Experts on Earth and astronauts in the ISS. So we're developing a mixed reality multi-user system. So yeah, we're extremely pleased to have received this this prize, and now trying to see how our technology could fit in with the Space Explorer's challenges.
I mean, you have a. I mean, it was an application to an ESA Business Incubation Center, or it was one of the challenge of Act in Space?
It was the challenge organized by AZO. What was the name? Maybe you can help me, Andreas.
What? Which application did you for the inner space or the ESA or the Copernicus Masters?
Inner Space Masters, yeah, that's it.
No, for the inner space. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a different project, yeah, but kind of dealing with similar applications at that time. So congrats again from my side.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, yeah. So the idea now is to see how our technology could fit to the Space Explorer's Masters challenges. So I mean, I'd say probably I have too many questions to synthesize it and ask anything really precise for the moment. Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. That's okay. So I suggest that you pass on your questions to me then, and I can see which challenge might be most relevant or whom I can pass on your questions.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be. We still have some important trade shows till the end of June, but then in July I'll have much more time to work on this. So
fair enough. We still have 4 weeks to go then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can come up with a great idea again.
Yeah.
So if you have any questions, do let me know. You can always contact me via the website.
Yeah, great. Yeah, yeah.
And, all right, Alexander, thanks for this. Is there anyone else who would like to pose a question, maybe to one of our partners? Or does one of the partners want to say something again?
Yeah, I see here online the Orbit joined the session, and it was one of the winner of the last year. Can you please share with us in which way you have been benefiting of the prize?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent, thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. Yes, basically we have this small propulsion device that has very particular ignition system made on 3D printing and so on, and that has to have very high reliability. And this more propulsion system will allow to CubeSats to go beyond Earth on exploration and allow new mission scenarios and so on. And basically, yeah, we're going to test it on the ISS, and we're going to test it in several scenarios so that we'll be perfectly happy with the reliability figures that can be, have a proven heritage of functioning in space. So that basically this will be our project for the Exploration Master, which will be very good, I think, and we're really looking forward to that.
And may I ask you if you are going to apply this year again with something else? I believe this is just an element of your whole supply chain.
That's certainly top secret, isn't it?
Just if you are thinking about what.
No, definitely. We have a lot of plans for surely for exploration, the ISS utilization. We have to find we indeed have a couple of ideas. We have to find the best way to understand how to use it, how to make use of possibly of a in-orbit demonstration validation. Yes, we have a couple of ideas. But these are big. We like to scale up to big systems, so which becomes very difficult to test, and so we have to think how kind of testing small parts of it, or just some concepts, because we would like to move to large systems that will enable possibly exploration, especially on the moon, on other planets. But as they increase in size and weight, then become even more difficult to test and validate in space.
Cool, thank you for this.
Thank you.
Let me see who else is there. Mina, can you hear us? Probably not.
Yes, I can hear you. Hello?
Hello, yes, we can hear you.
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Everyone
So,
else too?
I was just thinking about like to ask, but just one question popped into my head, like what kind of stage of company do you like choose, or what criteria based on that?
Is this a specific question to any of the partners or just in general?
Just a general question.
Well, I mean, we try and be as open as possible and cover every stage. I mean, as I said, from an early stage idea until an out-of-the-shelf product, there is room for everything. However, when it comes to having a business case for one particular challenge, for instance, then of course we need to differentiate a little bit. What stage are you at? Is it an idea only?
We were an accelerator. Actually, we were part of the MIT Global Entrepreneurship Bootcamp. But we're still like thinking about funding and like incubation, and we're thinking about incorporation soon, and we're working on research proposals, and we're pretty early stage.
Sounds pretty interesting. Thanks. Maybe one of the partners would like to comment on this. Would this something which potentially could be submitted to your challenge?
Well, what can I say? Considering that, let's say, first of all, this is an innovation competition. So the profile of innovation is quite, let's say, high requirements to apply. Then, of course, we need to understand, I mean, in which way the innovation can definitely help to making this valuable solution for one of these challenges commercial driven. So really the business aspect also play a key role. And in a certain way, also what is the contribution to the advancement of the space exploration. So every challenge belongs to different partner. You can see the description and also the criteria according to what is going to be judged, but more or less this is the common ground. Innovation, commercial driven, advancement of space exploration. Now, I didn't get actually in which field you are working, I mean, which perspective of the space exploration.
We're actually trying to build a network of satellites, CubeSat satellites, that can deliver real-time data for climate scientists.
And the satellite, they are based in which orbit? Where?
Sorry?
Where are based the satellite?
No, we're actually in the research phase. We have we don't have a prototype yet. So we're planning on having a prototype in the next few months. Hello?
Hello? Yeah, I mean the satellite, they are in the LEO orbit.
And we made a simulation, and based on satellites in middle Earth orbit in a 2,000 kilometer orbit, but to deliver real-time real-time service, you need up to like 65 satellites in 110 circles or orbits, and that's really like too much satellites. But we're trying to bring that number of satellites down.
Yeah, I mean, because well, the ESA space exploration strategy identified 3 target destinations: the low Earth orbit, Moon, and Mars. So I am a little bit struggling in which way you are contributing to the exploration profile with the constellation in the MEO orbit. I mean, the other partners, they have a different type of target. So for them, they are considering also other destination. But I mean, what is the key purpose? Because it seems to be an application for Earth observation. So what is the exploration solar system objective?
For climate science, management, we're pretty focused on science at the moment, and we're trying to reach out to climate scientists actually at the University of British Columbia.
Well, I don't know. Maybe we can have an offside conversation about this, but as you are describing, a little bit out of the scope of the conversation.
Sure.
I also leave the floor to the others, so maybe Uli or Lucia, Hilda.
Sure, I would love to have that conversation.
All right, thank you, Mina, for this contribution. Yeah, maybe it's best to speak about this in more detail later on. Is there anyone else who has got a question, maybe, or a contribution?
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
I actually have a question for Alexander, Mino, and Stefano.
Okay.
Okay, how did you get in touch with the invitation to this virtual event?
Okay, so I'll start. I got an email from probably, I think, Andreas or from AZO, and because we were in touch previously for the Inner Space Masters contest.
Very good. Excellent.
Yeah. You're welcome.
How about the others? Mina, how did you hear about this event? Mina, can you still hear us?
Hello, I can hear you. Well, one of my founders is called Camilo Reyes. He got an invitation from one of his friends in space, a company that wants to utilize space debris and actually manufacture space debris.
Okay, interesting.
Can we ask Stefano as well?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Okay. Basically, I was at the ESA Innovation Exchange event in June, and then I also received an email from Veronica. So that's how I heard. 2 ways I heard about this event.
Cool, thank you. So we already have 3 different sources. That's interesting to know. Thanks a lot. Yeah. If no one else has a question, I would say we'll call it a day. I think the first part of the session was pretty nice and good. For the second part, obviously, we had some technical issues, but still, I think we've taken something from it. I can only encourage you to keep on having a look at the Space Exploration Masters, think about ideas, and check out the website to identify the challenge that would best support your business case and then apply. I look very much forward to receiving your entries and wish you all the best of luck. I'd like to say thank you particularly to our partners, especially to to those who have stayed until the very end, even though we had these issues. Thanks for your time and patience, and stay tuned for the applications to come. Thanks a lot to everyone, and goodbye for now.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.